So this is pretty much how my life has been in the past 2 months here in Gurgaon, and would have been similar for all you folks out there winding up their MBA internships. So my name is Aditya, and I'm a student at AM Bangalore. I'm currently nearing the end of my 8-week summer internship here in Gurgaon. The reason I decided to make this video was to highlight the difference in the reality of MBA internships or internships in general for that matter to the version that is usually shown on LinkedIn. So yeah, MBA internships do get complicated, and recently I've been noticing a lot of videos or reels on Instagram with people talking about what you should do in your final presentation, or how should you talk to your manager and things like that. So I wanted to create a video to highlight a few baseline things and what actually happens and what is actually under your control. So yeah, this is going to be my first video here. Alright, so let me set the baseline for this video right at the start. So the baseline is almost 70 to 80% of the people going for these internships do want a PPO. Now a PPO, as you would know, is a pre-placement offer that the company is extending you a full-time offer based on your performance in the internship. Why is this the case, you would ask me? It is simply to avoid the uncertainties of sitting in the final placements. Yes, you heard that right. There are uncertainties even in the top B schools. But yeah, we'll go into that in some other video. Now, before going into anything else, I would like to highlight two key challenges that every intern would have faced. The imposter syndrome. There are moments when you genuinely feel out of place. You're constantly asking yourself whether you're doing enough, whether you're smart enough, and whether you're actually contributing anything valuable. Most of it comes from the fear of underperforming and the desire to leave behind something meaningful. And the second, you're a temporary resource. You have just 8 weeks to make an impact. So naturally, you want every piece of work to matter. But that's not always how things play out. Sometimes you spend a lot of time on something and later realize it wasn't very important in the larger scheme of things. That's just part of working in a larger organization. But when you're an intern with limited time, those moments can feel particularly painful. Though this might look like a rant, but by no means do I mean to undermine the value of these MBA internships. They are a mandatory component of the MBA program for a reason. These are great learning opportunities simply because of the fact that you're willing to put in a lot of effort into this, whether it be for the sake of learning or for fear, whatever. My intention to create this video is simply to highlight the reality of these internships, which is usually not talked about. The version that you see on LinkedIn and other social medias are basically a polished version of the reality, and the true reality usually comes out in casual conversations with friends. Now, coming to the part of what is actually important in these MBA internships. So, based on my experience, what I felt is making your presence felt is the most important concept. I know this might sound vague. This is like your communication teacher coming into class and saying that communication is the most important thing in corporate, and you only really realize this when you actually enter into corporate. So yeah, making your presence felt is one of the most important components, and I have a few reasons for this. Firstly, 8 weeks is a very short period to do wonders in an organization. And trust me, if you're able to do one because you had a supportive team, then you're probably the lucky one. This is not the case with most interns here. And secondly, your work may not always speak for you. This is a little subjective, but your stakeholders may not always be aware of what you're actually doing. In fact, they may be very busy into what they are doing, and that may have relatively higher weightage with respect to the company work. So your work may probably get overshadowed. Hence, it becomes particularly important to create this visibility in the organization. And the primary goal to do this is simply to understand the expectations of your stakeholders. Now, once you're aware of the expectations of your stakeholders, you will have to build something that has meaning and value to them. It is here that the MBA internships get really challenging because the expectations may be vague, but despite that, you'll have to come up with something. Finally, let's not forget that there are certain things that are simply not under your control. There could be an upper cap on the number of interns the company plans to convert. There could be constraints on the number of openings available in a particular domain. Sometimes the evaluation is also relative, and you may be compared with someone whose project naturally carries more visibility or business impact. At the end of the day, there are countless variables that influence the final outcome, and many of them are outside your control. So focus on the things you can control: your effort, your attitude, your communication, and your willingness to learn, and let the rest take care of itself. So, now the obvious next question that comes up is what is the solution to all this, right? So, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know whether I've done what it takes to convert an internship. But I just feel if you're coming out of this internship as a more knowledgeable and a more confident person, then that's truly success in itself. All right. And just like that, the internship chapter closes. You know what time it is? It's the time to make the most of the final year. Let's go.